connected by origin and are made of the same essence.
What's the yap about today? Me ranting about the average HSR player's non existent foresight. I should probably start trying to build Ceridra. Yappy Maru? Yappy Maru. Do I even use Ting Yun on this account? Do I use her anymore? I don't remember. I use a Noxa with arms. No, I don't even use my Ting Yun anymore. Okay. When is Asheville beta? 2 days. Wait. Wait, that's actually. Holy shit, right off the bat? Hey. Pog? Pog. Trying to get attack percent plus speed for Sari. I mean, depending on how much. Does Sari even care about. Yeah, she probably cares about hitting a threshold, but. Probably want an attack percent with speed. And then this, give me attack percent. Oh, there already is one. Nice, nice, nice. All into attack percent. I'll take it. I'll take it. So that's like two done. If Asheville is break and has baller animations, I might fold. I get the feeling he won't be break just because of his element. I don't know. Lightning? Follow up? Sounds crazy. Shouldn't you wait for the 4 Substack QOL next patch? Well, probably, but it's like kind of insignificant uni. Because I haven't leveled any relics on this account for probably months. So the amount of relic XP I have is like through the roof. Yeah, I played Wua Story. I mean, he could be Super Break. It would also line up with like a Dahlia rerun in 4.2. But I don't know. Because I do feel, and I could be completely wrong, and, Himiko could be like a Phanon situation. I feel like Himiko would be Break. If there's a drip market, it would be today, in about 10 hours from now. I don't know. According to Anon, he believes there's only one character who was Namancha or Ashvale. So if Anon's right, then there's no second character. The only other person who said they thought there was going to be two was Sakura Haven. 10-hour stream, yeah, right. I think Asheville is for sure going to be the weakest DPS in this entire version, but maybe they put it in his Eidolon so that he's like stronger. To be honest, it's kind of nice. I want to see, what a 4-point-X Hunt's Eidolons look like. Because Fei Xiao's E0 to E2 jump was like 70%. So will they give him the good treatment or will they like shaft him? I hope they give him really good Eidolons. Hunt always ends up being the weakest to their own version. Not really. Uh, the reason I think he's gonna be the weakest is just because he's obviously. It doesn't seem like he's gonna get any teammates at least anytime soon, right? So he's not getting any teammates anytime soon. If he is a follow-up unit, it's like, well, what the fuck is he gonna do, right? It's similar to like a My Day situation. I'd say saying that Hunt is always the weakest is a stretch because technically speaking for MOC, Fei Xiao is probably the strongest from 2.x and then the strongest or sorry, one of the strongest from 3.x is Archer now with buff Sparkle. So, it's only really 1.x with maybe free Ratio that you can make that argument. Ratio did not age well. I thought Hunt characters take more brain power. Usually people who can play better against boss mechanics and understand boss mechanics, they get a lot more out of a Hunt character for sure. And of course, like fucking disgusting levels of relic investment to hit certain like speed break points, but yeah, that too. Oh yeah, Uni for sure. Hopefully E0 to E2 is 50 to 60%. That's garbage. Please don't hope for that. That is less than majority of the 2.x main DPSs. Do not wish for that. Now, I'd say 100% or higher is good enough for him. 100% is normal, by the way. Like, it is pretty normal. Basically, every Amphorius DPS gets nearly or over a 100% jump from E0 to E2. How do you think they'll buff well? At first, I thought he'd be a DPS, but then I remembered his main gimmick was slowing enemies. I think he might be an Acheron buff before they give Acheron a Nova Flare. Probably as a sustain or something. If Ashvale plays well with Fei Xiao and Fei Xiao reruns, I might Gigafold. Would. I mean, it could work. It could work if he's like a third situation, kind of. Right? Like he wants other Hunk characters, and then you can put Fei Xiao in there, and maybe he gets stronger, or maybe he could be a character who maybe reacts to people on his team hitting enemies. So Fei Xiao could be good for that, I guess. But my guess is he's probably gonna be a main DPS. I don't know about a Fei Xiao rerun. This would be the best time to get a Fei Xiao rerun, though, for sure, for those looking for it. Nah, My Day My day is an exception with his E1 in multiple targets. Like if you look at single target, it's kind of bad. His E1 isn't good at all. It's very situational. I don't like situational Eidolon increases. Understandable, Uni. Daily reminder that you could play a better game. Daily reminder you can go fuck yourself. I don't care. They'll put Welt's currency war kit. I don't even know what Welt's currency war kit is. I hope Seals E1 gets a better condition or just becomes unconditional with some more crit rate on it or something added to it. Yeah, Seal buffs are going to be interesting. That 4.2 beta is about to be hell, man. You got a Firefly buff. Everybody fucking hates Firefly, so they're going to be critical about it. The first standard character getting buffed, they're going to be hella critical about it. Yai and Silverwolf with the entire drama of the main push switching. There's going to be drama about that too. What were the other ones? Huohuo. People think she's already good enough of a sustain. So they're going to be looking for her for, you know, Saber mains, possibly even Dot mains, other characters. This is about to be one of the most controversial betas, if not the most. Because it's so many different communities that these characters benefit. Huohuo is not that. Huohuo is not good. Huohuo is good. The problem with Huohuo is legit just age. We lived in an age where you didn't need to generate a bajillion skill points and, you know, heal without actually consuming all that many skill points. Like that was normal. You know what I'm saying? Um, but these days, it's no longer normal to really spend a lot of time pressing the skill button to heal, and as well as having kind of weak healing and SP negativity. Like, they could literally just fix that alone, give her like Avon levels of SP positivity, and she'd get buffed even further and be one of the best in the game. But given this is a 4.x Nova Flare buff, and what they've done for previous Nova Flare characters, there will be more to it than just that. Like, they'll for sure probably increase ER gen capabilities and maybe even her attack buffs. Okay, do you guys agree with me on this? People saying that they're going to wait until near the end of the version for a best in slot team make no sense. I'm having to deal with this shit in my comments. They're like, oh, you know, I'm going to wait until I'm 100% sure and then until the end of the version so I can get the best team. And it's like, wouldn't you infinitely apply this logic? You know what I'm saying? Like, 5.0 team will be stronger and in a few patches. Oh, don't pull the 5.0 characters. Annie's coming up. You wait until the Annie. Oh, their supports, their best in slot supports, whatever released earlier, they're getting power crept. Wait until near the end of the version. You're near the end of the version, and now you're close to 6.0. Oh, why would you pull this team when you're close to 6.0 and the new meta? I don't understand this fucking logic, bro. Like, people are dead ass willing to wait damn near an entire year to see if Yao Guang might get power crept. And keep in mind, even if she theoretically does, her E1 is a 30% increase towards the Elation team's damage. Right? 30%. You could grab her E1 and probably make up, if not surpass, the difference. Like, it's insane to me, bro. People are this scared. It's kind of funny to me that like Wua and HSR have the opposite problems. I feel like the Wua community puts too much faith into the value of some characters at times, and then the HSR community pretends like every character is just useless after a few patches, and they're just fucking doomed. Those people are trying to solidify their best in slot team for the DPS they main. Okay, then get Eidolons for the character. I don't know. Like, why are they even looking at horizontal investment if they're so confident horizontal investment will get power crept? Just get Eidolons. But, like, here's the thing you guys need to understand. To power creep Yao Guang in Elation teams, who is already as strong as she is as compared to any other supportive options. Let's say theoretically, right, we get Yao Guang power creep. They're like, I don't know, 30% stronger than Yao Guang for a certain team, right? This Elation support, theoretically, that exists in the future, that power creeps Yao Guang, would be more than twice as strong as compared to any other alternative support option that isn't Elation. Like, people don't use their brains. That is 100 times of a jump of what Cyrene does versus Tribby in her best possible teams. Okay? Like, get fucking real, bro. Please, get fucking real, man. I'm sick of this shit. Oh my goodness. Like, genuinely, what the fuck do you think this game is? Her entire kit is Elation damage buffing. Almost entirely. Her Eidolon investment is Elation damage buffing specifically, and Aha Instant specifically. Right. Her ult is activating an Aha Instant that does fuck all if you're not using her in Elation DPS and Mono Elation teams. You think the entire character's kit who's been dedicated towards Aha Instants and Mono Elation is not gonna fit in Mono Elation. Oh my god. My problem is that people don't know how to read, right? Like, people will say this shit, ask them what Yao Guang's kit mainly focuses on and does for why she'd get power crept, and it's fucking crickets. Like, 99% of HSR players who doom post characters don't know the kit, don't know how the character works, why it is that they'd get power crept. Like, keep in mind, I am the person who was on the forefront that Cassie would get her best in slot teammates, and Tribby and these other characters weren't her best in slot, right? Back then, everybody was against me, saying that no, Cassie's best in slot is finished. She isn't going to get any best in slots in the future, because there were flaws in some of her support's kits that didn't fully synergize with Cassie. This is the opposite, right? Like, legit, Yao Guang is perfect fucking synergy, has completely dedicated damage buffing, and people are now saying that she's gonna get power crept. It's like, what the fuck, bro? Do you think Sparksy will get more in slots to make her a DPS? No. Sparksy's team is probably just gonna be Sparksy, Bus Sparkle, and then Yao Guang plus Elation Sustain forever. If I had to guess. No, that's why I hate the Sunday comparison. Listen, I fell for it too. And technically, he was meta. I said he'd be incredibly meta for the upcoming version. He was. Up until Cyrene came out, I feel like nobody could have guessed Cyrene, bro. I genuinely feel like you are lying to yourself if you guess Cyrene's kit back when Sunday was releasing. Okay? Sunday was, before Cyrene, still the most meta hyper carry support in the entirety of the game, right? And if you wanted to free up RMC, and theoretically there was no Cyrene at the time, right? The best way to do it was to use Sunday. It wasn't as good as RMC, but it was good enough, right? Like, I use Sunday with my Evernight sometimes, which is significantly more scuffed than with Cassie, but, you know, that's what I used to do on this Cassie account, right? Like, he was meta for basically an entire year. But even if we ignore this, Sunday was not part of the new path and did not have specific buffs for specific things, right? Like, Yao Guang's kit is mostly buffing elation damage. Specifically, this is similar to Everknight's kit, which specifically buffs Memo Sprite damage, right? Sunday's kit doesn't have any of this. All he does is action advance a summon, and he gives your character a little more of a stat boost if you do have a summon on you. There's nothing specifically like, oh, if this character has a Memo Sprite, increase their damage by 20 to 25%. If this character is a Remembrance character, increase their damage by 30%, right? Like, that doesn't exist in Sunday's kit, but it does exist in Yao Guang's kit, which is why it's like, I don't understand why people get so skeptical. I missed when I could Doom post Cyrene and be right about it. I mean, it depends on what you call Doom post. Like, she's hardly best in slot for half of the Chrysos heirs at this point, and she's definitely not going to be better than Tribby for basically any future upcoming 4.x support as an alternative. So, like, if you're talking about future value, Cyrene was always going to be dog shit. But for, like, the few Chrysos heirs she buffs significantly, she's good. Like Anoxa and like Mono Rem and Evernight Hyper Carry, My Day, shit like that. Yeah, the thing is, you can still use Sunday with both Eggy and Faye. Cyrene isn't the biggest jump for either of those characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, Phanon, it's obvious. You always want to get his Enolons before you even consider getting Cyrene. E2 will always beat anything else. And then Eggy also has a pretty juicy E1, which would be better as compared to replacing Sunday with Cyrene. I literally remember seeing calcs, by the way, with Hyacine. Cyrene can be a bit more of a jump, right? About 20% over Sunday. But with Don Hung PT, replacing Sunday with Cyrene in an Eggy team was like 5%. That shit was nearly non-existent. Okay? So it's like, are you really gonna pull Cyrene for a 5% buff? Or are you gonna grab that E1 for Eggy, which is a significantly larger buff? Or her Lycone, or her E2, or maybe, you know, go into like an E1 Robin, right? E1 Don Hung PT with that res pen. Literally almost every investment option possible is better than picking up Cyrene. Hello, Everly. Imagine the poor folks who pulled Cyrene for Dot. Apparently, Cyrene is still best in slot uni, but now Black Swan is more competitive, and there are certain matchups where Black Swan can be better. However, I think overall Cyrene is still better. So it's like 50-50 with Heislands. But then again, right? Because of this, right? Because it's 50-50, it's like if you already have a Swan, or even if you don't have a Swan, there's something way more juicy called E1 Heislands. That shit is really strong, okay? It is really, really strong. Then you also have S1 Heislands. Then you have E1 Kafka. Like, there are so many teams where you have to go through multiple levels of investment before you're like, yeah, I really need Cyrene. Unless you're like a Noxa, you know, Hypercarry, Evernight, teams like this I've already mentioned. Yeah, exactly, Uni. I have Phanon, but I refuse to get Cyrene, so we're investing in other ways. Yeah. Like, Phanon has really strong self-investment. I don't know, dude. Probably not generally at all. Like, we don't have his kit. Cyrene is best in slot, but it's by like 20%, which once again is like in HSR 20% is fucking nothing. I could get an E1 Donhung PT with the 18% res pen, which usually translates to a little more, so like a 20% overall damage increase. Bam. Equivalent to having Cyrene. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't big. It really ain't big. Also, something I should mention, uh, if you're not someone who wants to use Archer, you can pick up the free buff Sparkle, do a rotation with Sparkle Sunday for Phanon, and I believe that's actually his strongest E0 team in the game right now. Like, if everybody's E0, I'm pretty sure that's his strongest team in the game. Only E2 Cyrene beats it, because she gets her ult instantly. I saw a calc for it. Because now that Sparkle's buffs can last 2 turns instead of 1, Sunday X Sparkle actually works. So. It's crazy how 20% is nothing HSR, but in WUWA 20% is big. Oh yeah, for sure, Yanni. 20% is like fucking bottom of the barrel jumps. Like 20% is probably like Archer E1 level. And you know how much I slander that shit. Should I invest in an Anoxa team right now? I mean, do you already have an Anoxa? I mean, why not? Sari's there, so Cyrene's there. Personally, I'd rather go for the new meta. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. It'd obviously be better to go for the new meta. But I think an Anoxa with Saridra Cyrene, just because of how strong the combo is, would be fine for quite a while. Make him Mo's power creep. You guys think he's gonna be a sub DPS for Fei Xiao or something? Like a Dahlia for follow up? Because he's Lightning Hunt? I mean, maybe. I don't know if they do that though. Fei Xiao becomes a sub DPS for him. Eh, I'll just wait till beta. I don't know. I'm kind of lost on him, other than maybe possibly being follow up. There's possibilities for sure. Either him sub DPS or main DPS. Because I'm not gonna lie, Fei Xiao hasn't gotten. Yeah, she hasn't gotten a single best in slot support outside of Robin. Wow, she hasn't gotten a single one in years. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he was like basically a stronger Mose, like way stronger, and then you also had the ability to go into his Eidolon investment, which would also make Fei Xiao even stronger as well. So like he does more damage, he does more buffs, he does more follow ups, and then it's like, I could see it. I see the vision. She got Cypher. Cypher did fuck all for Fei Xiao, bro. Cypher is not that big of a buff in follow up. Cypher was a bigger jump for Acheron than she was for follow-up. They massively nerfed Cypher's follow-up damage in her beta. So I'm seeing Fei Xiao Zero Cycle still use Moze over Cypher. Yeah, because Moze attacks way more frequently than Cypher does. Played right. Like, the amount of follow-ups and attacks you can do on Moze to generate Fei Xiao ult stacks is, like, way more as compared to Cypher. Cypher is kind of weird. Very, very weird. She's like, you can't tell if she's meant for follow-up or for Acheron. She's like right in between of the two. It feels like they focused on both, which led to her being like kind of mid for follow up. Yeah, like most of the time, people don't even use Cypher. I'd say necessarily because she's strong, right? Like her buffing capability and just auto putting vulnerability as a nihility is highly valuable as compared to previous nihilities. But like 99% of the time when you see Cypher used in like really fast clears, it's because there's a boss who has some bullshit gimmick that Cypher can bypass with the recorded true damage. You know what I'm saying? Like what's it called? That one judgment boss, the Iker boss, that takes 50% less damage. Like you could just record Cypher damage that entire time, overkill the first wave, get to the second half, nuke them with Cypher ult, and they just die. It does the full damage. It doesn't get reduced. But if there's like a boss that doesn't have gimmicks, and like it's just a DPS check, then Cypher loses a lot of her value for like fast clears for a lot of these characters. Yeah, low key, the more thought I'm giving this, maybe they are gonna rerun Fei Xiao, and it's gonna be like a dual DPS thing with him and Fei Xiao. That's like a pretty solid reality. Because like I'm not gonna lie, his teammate selection would be incredibly underwhelming, right? Like you need to think about it. His teammate selection is trash if he isn't like a duo DPS with Fei Xiao. He has a few free characters of like Mo's March 7th, maybe a little Cypher, Robin from 2.x, and that's it. Like his teammate selection is utter garbage if he's a main DPS with no Fei Xiao synergy. How good is Tribby in follow-up teams? She's good. I've seen in a lot of cases actually, people will use Tribby, and especially E1 Tribby, over any other support option for Fei Xiao. That's like actually decently common. Tribby has some synergy there for sure. How much she's like best in slot by, or if she's even best in slot, I'm not sure. But I've seen a lot of like Fei Xiao clears with E1 Tribby at this point. The new global passive will be a drama. I mean, is there even a global passive? I say this because like we had Cassie being leaked to have a global passive. I think pretty early on. There's been no leaks about Yai having a global. Like people said, what's it called? People said Cyrene would have a global passive, and she didn't. Like, I don't even know if they're still doing that global passive shit. If they do, though, it'll probably be useless again. Or just not that useful. Hello, Abby. Will you pull E2 Cyrene for your Cassie account? No. I'd rather invest into like E1 S1 Hyacine if I kept investing. But my Cassie account is gonna pull for Sparksy Yao Guang. I'll get E1 Yao Guang on the rerun. Since 4.1 is a filler patch, I can basically guarantee Silver Wolf. And then the rerun will probably be 4.3. So the goal is we got Sparksy, Sparksy, E1 Yao Guang, E0 S1 Sylvie, and then obviously EMC until the limited comes out. Yeah, the reason I'm fine with not getting Eidolons on like initial release for characters is because they always rerun the fastest on like their second banner, right? Their first rerun. So I know Sparksy Yao Guang are probably gonna rerun in 3 patches. I know the Annie characters are probably also gonna rerun in like 3 to 4 patches. So I don't have any issues waiting, especially since they're probably more than enough for clearing endgame content anyway. And through this, people who waited an entire year to not get Yao Guang, and then she's still gonna be best in slot, that shit's gonna be hilarious, bro. That shit's about to be hilarious. Oh, I will be laughing. Yeah, Anon said he'd do a poll on his Telegram, and whoever won the poll, he'd leak a part of their kit. So currently, or at least the last time I saw it, it was 31% Silverwolf and 32% Yai. So it's either one of those two that's going to get their kit leaked a little bit. Right now it's 45% Yai. Oh, holy shit, it jumped up even more. Well, I guess no Silverwolf kit leak, unfortunately. To be honest, I feel like people should have voted the Annie main push. Are they stupid? Like, if they voted the Annie main push, people would be able to see whether or not Yao Guang and, like, Sparksy end up synergizing. They chose the non-Annie main push. I mean, I guess, bro. I guess it's just fans of the character. It makes sense. The first Annie where 2 characters are super popular, yeah. I mean, Avon was also decently popular, but not the most. What changes do you want for HSR's relic system? I don't know. To be honest, I'd take it if they just kept increasing the self-modeling resin income. I don't think Pearl will be the Elation Sustain Everly. I think Pearl's gonna be Himiko Sustain. And that also makes sense, especially now that we know we're going to Astropolis on the second half. That's when they're going to start building Himiko's team. I think the Elation Sustain will probably be on the last patch, and it's probably going to be Sampo. I could be wrong, though. My guess is Pearl will stay Preservation for Himiko's team, though. Stefan isn't even confirmed playable. I promise you, not all of the characters shown in the trailer are playable. Aventurine was still way less popular than Acheron. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying Aventurine isn't popular, but Yai and Silverwolf is like the first time in an Annie where you can argue that the characters are basically equally as popular. You can't say the same for any other Annie. Cassie was way more popular than Anoxa. Acheron was way more popular than Avon. I mean, my guess, if I had to guess towards Himiko's team, I bet she's gonna have Robin SP on her team as well. So her team would be Himiko SP, Robin SP, and then Pearl as Sustain, and then I don't know who the second slot would be. It's kind of weird to imagine Aventurine being a second slot, so I don't play ZZZ. Why would I do ZZZ leagues? Hello? So that's just forcing myself to do something I don't even want to do. Yeah, Robin SP's been leaked for like forever at this point. Robin Aventurine. I don't know how you join. Please stop spamming. I don't know. I don't have Telegram myself. I simply saw the poll on a Reddit. Nice. Blade just changed color and now is an SP. No offense, but you guys say this every time, and people end up eating dirt. Like every single fucking time. Every single time there's an SP of a character coming up, people cry about how unoriginal it is and how bad it looks. Yet Don Hung PT got glazed to all heavens when his model finally came out and people saw him and his animations. This shit happens every time. mean, there are new faces. You not see Yao Guang, Ash Vale, Evanesia, Nihilux. Like, you guys act like... Oh my goodness.
Forge all things.
You were the same with Silverwolf? Yeah, because there was literally a drip market and that was it. All we had was her drip market at the time. And in that drip market, she barely looked any different at all. Like, there's nuance to this, dude. We've already seen Blade in the trailer now. And people are still saying this shit. And, like, these characters in these trailers. You guys say you don't want SP characters, but I guarantee you if we don't get SP characters, this game's story goes to absolute fucking shit. And it just turns into woo-wah.
With this divine power.
SP characters allows for older characters from the beginning of the game to continue being relevant over time no matter what. You remove SP characters and this game can no longer make as much money off them, they won't care and they'll turn into woo-wah. I much prefer SP characters.
With this divine power, I reforge all things.
For sure, Yumi.
To the soul. With this divine power, I reforge all things.
Genshin doesn't make them useless. Is this Genshin? Like, dude, holy shit. Oh my god. You guys just want, like... Is this real, bro? Every time this conversation gets brought up, you guys just make up some imaginary reality where the best parts of every single gacha game exist and all the bad parts don't, and then you combine them. And then you criticize every other game off that. Like, this shit doesn't make sense, dude. This game isn't Genshin. In Genshin, they're literally all on Teyvat. They're all on the same fucking planet. In HSR, we're going to a different planet every fucking 4 patches. 7 to 8 patches. Oh, I was talking to someone else? Oh.
With this divine power, I reforge all things.
Oh yeah, Uni. Yo, Uni, you want a good laugh, Uni? Go to my community post that I made yesterday about they're trying to pull the characters are power crept and useless after 2 patches in the Big 26 for HSR. All the top comments think I'm talking about the WUA community. I was talking about the Genshin community. I made that community post because Genshin and HSR are fucking beefing on Twitter for no reason. And people think I was talking about WUA.
With this divine power, I reforge all things.
I got rage baited by the comments.
To the soul.
Yeah, I agree, Everly. It's like, I'm a huge Blade fan, but I don't want to invest into... Oh my god, what a fucking terrible run. Like, I'm a huge Blade fan, but I don't want to invest into the old Blade, right? So I get a new Blade that likely has a different position, is actually more caught up to the meta, probably has better investment, and it's like a very good time to get him. And he probably has an updated design with updated animations. Like, I fucking love that, bro. I love that. If there's a character I really like, I hope they get SPs in this game. Like, I understand people would prefer, oh, if they just upgraded the animations and they added like a skin for the older character, sure. And like the best reality, sure. However, I prefer SPs. They keep getting updated animations, outfits, lore relevance, designs, like meta relevance and shit like that. Like, it's just so much better in my opinion. Okay, listen. I read this comment yesterday. I didn't reply to it because I thought it was rage bait. I saw a comment that their S4 Jinshi was weaker than Lene main DPS. We don't need to lie, bro. Okay, listen. We don't need to lie. Listen. An S4 Jinshi losing to main DPS Lene makes 0 sense. The only way this can make sense is if you're talking about the current shield TOA, in which you can do Toon Rupture damage and decrease the enemy res by 15%. So in shield, maybe, right? But if there isn't any shield and it's a neutral scenario, I'm sorry, something's wrong with your Jinshi, man. Something is wrong. Yeah, Uni, exactly. You can tell both sides.
Be grateful for all this clamor. That is the sound of thoughts clashing.
76 pulls. You know what you get if you switch these? Oh my god. And the big 26 still? So I'm probably going to have like 78, 79 pulls. Maybe even 80. Yeah, maybe 80 because of weekly reset. Yeah. By the time the patch hits. Nice. Are you getting on the Anoxa account, Saridra? 6, 7. Before I was stressing. Holy burps. Before I was stressing on Buff Sparkle or Sari. But because Buff Sparkle is free, I can fully focus on Saridra. Is Bronya SP Cope? What do you mean? Silver Wolf's right there, bro. That is the Bronya SP. Oh, for sure, Uni, for sure. I'll be there. Will you go for E1 Sari? I'll try. If I lose a 50-50, I'm saving the guaranteed for Cyrene. I have 250 pulls for the new Elation meta. Good luck, my man. Good luck. Saw Gabby getting heated with a guy assuming Yai is... Yes, because who said this? It's like, bro, oh my god. People are literally taking things out of their ass or they're listening to the most random of fucking leakers. I am, one of the leaks content creators for this fucking game where I haven't seen any leak about Yai being a healer once. Legit, it is non-existent on the leaks Reddit. There has been nothing about Yai being a healer. And this guy's, it's impossible to trust the leakers because they can't even decide whether or not Yai is a main DPS or a healer. Who the fuck said she's a healer? In fact, Anon literally leaked a few days ago that Silverwolf and Yai are both separate main DPSs. Fuck. Exactly. It's like, there's no way these people are real, bro. There's no way. Who said healer? Nobody. Nobody has called Yai a healer. Holy shit. What's funny about that S4 Genshi comment is it's massively upvoted. Your community believes it. uh, hey, it is what it is. Uni, it is what it is. Anon writes the gospel. He does, man. He's probably about to be right again. Keep in mind, him and Sakura Haven had a disagreement before about, I don't remember what it was at this point, and he won. And then their disagreement this time is that Sakura said there would be 2 characters for 4.1, and Anon said there would only be 1. And Anon was like, oh, we'll see who's right. And if you actually go to the official like details for HSR, apparently somewhere they basically say we're only going to run 1 new limited 5-star character with a few reruns during 4.1. So he's beaten Sakura Haven twice in a row. This guy deadass has a perfect, flawless track record. Keep in mind, before Anon came, Sakura Haven was like, Sakura Haven and Seal Leaks were the most reliable, easily. The most reliable in the space. This guy came in out of nowhere and then got a flawless track record. Low diffed by Anon Leaks. Power scaling leakers. I wish we had an Anon leaker in WUWA. You guys don't want to hear what I gotta say, but you guys already had an Anon leaks in WUWA. To be honest, the same so-called rage bait personality as well. But the guy just doesn't leak anymore because of the community backlash. Step leaks? Yeah. Step leaks, similar to Anon leaks, if I remember correctly, only got 1 leak wrong in the history of his leaks. It's the same as Anon. Anon got a Cassie rerun wrong. And people say, oh, you know, Step leaks rage baits, right? But Anon does technically the same thing Step does. He'll, like, there are people always saying that he's rage baiting every time he gives his opinion on, like, the meta relevance of a certain character. And they said he was rage baiting because he didn't say Kafka was meta in the selector. Like, they treat Anon the same way Step. Except, to be honest, like, WUA community was 10 times more violent towards Step. Like, they were daily attacking that man on social media. We got Iris, now we Gucci. Hey, if I don't see Ice Rover, fuck Iris, bro. No, the reason people got mad at Step leaks is because he leaked something completely, like, real, by the way. Like, he actually did a leak for Prolova's story, but he left out context, I guess, which got people really, really pissed. Because it led to some people doom posting, I think, Prolova's story. And when the actual full thing came out, people saw it in a different light and then attacked him over having posted that screenshot. So you can call it like rage bait because he didn't fully explain the entire scenario. Yeah, people are trying to slander HSR's free 5-star selector, and I've seen people even go as far as saying that the Genshin 4 stars have more value than Buff Sparkle, which is like maybe Bennett, but there probably isn't anybody else. Like you can literally put Buff Sparkle, at least currently, in almost every single team. Every single one. She's in the Elation meta. She's best in slot for Phanon. You can use her for Aggie. You can use her for all the older characters because of how strong her buffs are now. Like, let's get real, bro. Do you think Yao can work with Archer? Yes, but it's not great. It used to be a lot better, and she was actually like a contestant for it. But they nerfed the synergy a little bit, so not as much as it used to be. Low key, C6 4 stars sounds like a nightmare, and specifically Genshin, where the pull count is non existent. What's best in slot for Phanon right now if you have no Cyrene? Probably Sunday plus Buff Sparkle. The thing is, right, I've been watching this entire thing unfold on social media, and that's why I made my community post. These people are still on the, oh, your characters get power crept in 2 patches. Meanwhile, I'm using Bennett and Sucrose, right? Sure. But this entire power crept and useless after 2 patches thing, the only people who say this shit don't play HSR or completely blue at it. Right? Like there genuinely is no other explanation. Because once again, Archer is from 3.4. We are about to go into 4.0. Right? 4.0. It's been like 7 or 8 months since Archer initially released. And this guy is still getting 1 cost 0 cycles. Okay? 1 cost and 0 cycle in the same fucking sentence. I don't want to hear it from these people. I'd probably get Kafka then Haska. My bad. I suck at pronouncing names. Yeah, Ruan May has been in T0 for this game for now nearly 3 years. Ugh. Yeah, exactly. Like, the same applies to the Annie character. Like, if people really want to nitpick, Cassie has technically had the strongest team for 7 to 8 patches. Cassie has had the strongest team for 7 to 8 patches. Why do you think Ho buff will be good for Dot? Ho buff could be good for Dot with Black Swan specifically. Because more energy gen means more ults. Better SP positivity means you no longer need to play around Ho's healing. She'll probably have better sustain. Better SP positivity means you can afford a skill on basically everyone on the team. A Ho buff could do a lot for Black Swan's value in the Dot team. For sure. Yeah, you could still invest in Dot. It's still like one of the strongest teams in the game. And they have some of the best early investment too, which makes it even better. Ho-Ho buffs everyone's attack, not just one guy's attack like Dan Heng. Yeah, Uni. It's like a AoE attack buff. Yeah, same with Eggy. Yeah. Eggy and Saber for sure. Eggy and Saber are going to be the main winners of probably buffed Ho-Ho, if I had to guess. Is it possible that Silverwolf slash Lai use Sparkle? No. Like 0% chance. Sparksy maybe. Sparkle no. It's pretty clear that they want Sparksy to be the second slot sub DPS in Elation teams. I actually didn't know how disgusting the punchline generation could be for increasing Elation damage, but then I saw something about the formula and how high it can go. Generating punchline with Sparksy is way more important than I originally thought. It can sometimes 3x Elation damage for people on the team. So won't they use Sparkle if they use Sparksy to... No. Why would you... Where the fuck do you... What are you saying? If you put in Sparkle, you replace Yao Guang. No one's replacing Yao Guang, dude. It's not happening. Maybe if you try to run Sustainless or some shit. But outside of Sustainless, no. Then she uses them even if she isn't the best in slot. It doesn't matter. She's gonna be way worse, dude. This is what I'm saying. You're not even arguing. Like, yes, she's a general buffer. Obviously, she's gonna be able to be used in some extent. But she's gonna be leagues worse than any other support option. Like, sure. I could say the same for Tribby. She works with everybody in the game. Even if sometimes it can be very varying. Like, if you're just talking about general buffer, then sure. But she's going to be, like, way worse than Sparksy or Yao Guang. They nerfed the formula? I don't think it really matters. Like, if they nerf it by 20%, it goes from what? Being a 3x jump to a 2.5x jump with Punchline? Like, it's still incredibly strong. Do you think Sparksy will be for both Yai and Silverwolf or just one of them? If there's anyone Sparksy and Yai are best in slot for, it's probably Silverwolf. The same reasoning I put in my previous video. Every single Annie main push DPS has a gimmick ult, and the one that makes the most sense for an Elation DPS is either Aha Instance or the amount of Elation skills people on the team have released. So this leads to Yao Guang being best in slot. And obviously, like, when you get 3 Elation characters, Aha Instants are constantly going. Sparksy in her punchline generation is very important. Like, that massively buffs the Elation damage. I just don't see anyone replacing these two. I'm sorry. Keep in mind, once again, I was the main person who, like, kind of caught on to Hoyo's BS of They're gonna give Cassie future best in slots. Tribby and Hyacine isn't the end, right? I think the opposite here. Literally, these kits are too tailor made towards having an Elation main DPS to imagine them then getting power crept out of it, right? Like, it would be better for Hoyo to just make a new DPS's team or sell a few other supports for previous DPS's than constantly focus on making, like, what, 6 or 7, fuck, that many Elation characters for only one team, right? Yeah, my guess is they'll both use Sparksy and Yao Guang, but obviously one is going to be stronger, and they're not gonna have the same gimmicks. Probably, like they won't have the same way to deal damage. Do you think Sparksy can be vertically invested into? Yeah, but her vertical investment isn't like game changing. But yes, obviously, you can just run Sparksy with Sparkle, probably get her E2, with her Lycone, run it with like Yao Guang. And keep in mind, Yao Guang has a really strong E1. Optimal investment for Sparksy probably looks something like E0 to E2, then Yao Guang and Yao Guang E1, and then whatever fucking future Assolation sustain for now it's EMC, and then Buff Sparkle. And keep in mind, Buff Sparkle also has pretty good investment, right? Like her E2 is 30 something percent defense shred. I saw it actually made a pretty significant difference when I looked at a Sparksy main DPS team to get that E2. Sustain. EMC would be a sustain. Sparksy needs an Elation sustain for her main DPS to fully function. Isn't Yao E1 more important? Well, yes, but my point is those are like the best investments you can make. It wasn't in order. But yes, E1 Yao is better. The thing is, I'm pretty sure Sparksy actually has a really good E4. I don't know why. She just does. Um, so yeah. Let me see if I can find it again. No, I'm not interested. Yeah, so Sparksy's E4 genuinely makes her like 20% stronger, even as compared, like 20 to 25% stronger as compared to E2, which is more than most characters E4. But I will say, like, okay, her E6 is probably the most broken one in the history of the game. That's all I'm going to say. If you care about that, if you don't, you know, it's up to you. But this E6 jump is high, to say the least. It's high. Nah, Yao E1 even before Sparksy S1. What do you think is the chance Ashe will be a follow-up break DPS? I don't think he's going to be break, but I do think he's going to be follow-up. What calcs are you using? Camaraderie. No, EMC is gonna be a sustain, guys. EMC is not gonna be another sub DPS support. It's just not happening. I could be wrong, but it's like it doesn't make sense because once again, Anon already said we aren't getting any more relation characters for a long time after 4.2. If EMC isn't an elation sustain, Sparksy won't be able to fully take advantage of her main DPS for like nearly a year. Like that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like they would just have to leave Sparksy main DPS in the dust for no reason, which is really weird. No, Yao S1 is not better than S1 Sparksy. No. Yao S1 is actually like one of the most underwhelming things possible. Even if you theoretically get an extra aha instant in some cycle, which won't even be consistent with her Lycone, from what I've seen, it's like at max 10% buff. Like that's not it's pretty low, bro. It's pretty low. And if you're running a team with Woho as a sustain, then her Lycone is basically useless. Because Woho can just do the ER gen herself. Is kind of how it goes. Isn't Blade supposed to be elation? No, there's no confirmation on that at all. I simply guessed he'd be elation, but he isn't. I mean, this should already show you guys. The dripped characters, despite being part of the elation drip marketing, are not all elation. Like, people for some reason thought this, but now we have proof that Ashvale is Hunt. So, not every single character who got dripped will be elation. What if Blade is free? You guys are delusional, bro. Holy shit. Just how many free limited 5 stars do you think this game is going to give us? Archer was part of a collab. That's the difference. Thank you. I'm still so happy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm literally like counting down the days for when it finally hits 4.0. I mean, technically, I still can't pull because I'm waiting for Sari, but I just want to grab that buff sparkle and run my Archer, man. Oh, I can't wait. Oh yeah, I know. Like even I was surprised that they put Buff Sparkle for free. I thought for sure they wouldn't. Like she is, I don't know. She's so strong right now. And she like if you're trying to get into Elation with specifically Sparksy main DPS, like there you go. That's one teammate down. Literally, the only other teammate you need for Sparksy is Yao Guang, because EMC will probably be a sustain and free in 4.2. So you just pick up a Yao Guang Sparksy, free buff Sparkle, and you have an Elation main DPS team off the bat. I'm surprised they did that shit. Because I genuinely thought, right? I think it would have made them more sense to make Yao Guang free. Because it's like, Yao Guang isn't really general, right? You can use her generally, can. However, not at all recommended in the slightest. And she's more niche. But Buff Sparkle is someone you can put in almost any team and massively elevate their performance. I thought they'd be more stingy with Sparkle, but I guess not. Can you show your Archer stats? They're probably mid as shit. 80 crit rate, 166 crit damage. Bam. Insane. The 80 crit rate is because I run them with my Sunday. Which just, oh my god, I need a, oh fuck. I need to farm new relics if I run him with Sparkle so that he doesn't miss crits. I didn't. Fuck. Basically a 2-cost team, yeah. I mean, that always happens, Randy. People need to understand this was the worst case scenario of a patch for HSR, right? The worst case scenario. And the other thing is, I've seen people trying to nitpick like peak viewership of certain games and then taking HSR's current patch viewership and be like, oh, this game's fucking dead. If you look at the peak viewership for Genshin, WUA, ZZZ, and HSR every month for over a year, HSR is in second place. Genshin in first, WUA in third, and ZZZ in last. And the gap between HSR and the rest is noticeable. Like, people just want a Doom post, man. This was just a filler patch. There's nothing else to it. Well, people are that desperate for Gacha War, Nozomi. They'll nitpick anything. Someone got tired of it, finally did a chart showing all the peak viewership throughout the months, and then proved them wrong. Sparksy soon? Yep, less than a week. Alright, chat. I think I'm going to end the stream here. Quick stream, but I haven't eaten today, and I'm pretty hungry. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Remember, Yao Guang is not bait. She will stay meta and best in slot.